more detail, refresh everybody's memory about that great chart that you have about mail versus Google, and you talked about contact cost. How did that come about? How did you define and how did you determine the contact cost for mail versus Google, the bounce standard rate landing, engagement standard percentages, and the final landing cost? I think
Sure.
that would be very well, that's a very powerful chart, but one would ask, where did you come up with those numbers?
Yeah, I can go, I'll go find it if I can here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's this one up here. Oops, it's hiding. There it is. Okay. Um, one of the digital magazines, I'm trying to remember which one, but one of them gave an example from a florist. And they said, we surveyed florists and they said on average they were paying $5 per click with Google. Okay. So $5 per click with Google and mail, um, we're working on a we're working on a 2.5 cent piece per piece vehicle as a co-op. So mail could be a lot less than $1, but I just picked $1 because it was easy. I know you can mail fancy stuff that's more than $1, but a lot of us try to keep it, you know, in the catalog world, $1, you can do a pretty nice catalog even today. So that's where those contact costs come from. Um, I've talked with friends and they've said, "Oh yeah, I can do pay per click and I can get down in the $2 range." The more of an oddity you are, the easier that is. But others have told me it's at least 10 for them. So the 5 was just an industry. It was from an industry publication. Um, but the other thing is the digital that Google says on that pay per click, 50% of the people who click that ad and go to your site, 50% of those people don't ever click another link. It's not people who don't buy. This is people who don't engage at all. They look and they think, and I do this, like, you type Washington and I'm trying to see state parks of Washington State or something. And they bring up Washington University in St. Louis or something. That stuff happens a lot. And sometimes I click the sponsored link accidentally. I try not to, but sometimes I do. So what they pay for me to go there, I don't know, but I don't stay because I go, oops, that wasn't what I was after at all. That's a 50% bounce rate. Now, what I said on 50, I don't know how to evaluate mail for bounce. What does that mean? Does it mean they don't look at it? Well, no, we know that yeah, it's possible that they literally don't look at it, that it's stuck in with other mail, like a Valpak or something, and they don't even look at it. They just throw it away. It's possible. But generally, an independent freestanding dollar mailing piece is going to be, it's going to have to be looked at, right? And so I say it's 100% engagement. You have to look at the piece and then you decide. Okay. So I would say that's at least, if not higher, engagement than the digital click through that you paid $5 for. Okay. So I'm right off the bat saying I think that you get more impact, even if all they do is throw it away. They're still seeing your brand, they're seeing your images, they're seeing some kind of sales message. Now, it may be that it's from a car dealer and I just got a new car, or I intend to keep it for another 200,000 miles. I'm just not interested. There's nothing wrong with that, but I still have more engagement with that you're getting in my head. And what Tom Habaika later in the part that you couldn't hear said was, I've stopped my digital because it doesn't build my brand. Those aggregators don't build my brand. Google doesn't build my brand. Okay, I'm in the mix with lots of other people. I want to get in their head, even if they don't have any issue for heating or air conditioning. I want to get in their head, and so that when something happens, because there's always going to be something that happens. The furnace is making a terrible screeching noise, or the air conditioning doesn't turn on, which, you know, you got the first hot day, and who do you call? So I want to be in their head. So I would contend that even this dollar, even though you, with very, very little connection, is still more memorable than the Google pay-per-click. Okay, so that's why I don't know exactly how to communicate that. But so I say, okay, some of it's wasted, some of it's going to people that are dead, or going, you know, something, there's some deliverability issues or something. So I say, okay, it isn't 100% that you get 100% value, but you get almost that out of mail, because we know it gets delivered and we know it's engagement by a decision maker. Whereas in Google, we know that half of them leave right away and probably don't even remember what, because it was completely wrong. Okay, if you have a landing page, 80% leave. These are Google's numbers, not mine, which means that that $5 immediately really costs you $10 per engagement, per anybody just clicking around on your site, just noticing your site. Okay, so for that same money, I'm getting almost a 10-to-1 or a 9-to-1 boost in mail. Cost me 1/10 as much just to get engagement, because I have so much higher engagement in mail. Okay, and from what I can tell, the DMA says 2 to 5% response rate, you know, with your offer. I don't know. I've worked at 0.5 sustainably. I've worked at 15 or 20%. You know, it's all over the map, but whatever. Let's just say 2%. I've also, in talking with digital advertising people, they said, once you get past the bounce, 2%, something like that you can expect. Maybe a little less, but something like that. So what we're saying is that both are effective at some level, but that mail can actually be, you know, 3 times more effective, 5 times more effective. And what Andrew is proving with the matchback analysis is that the people that you mail come back. The people that you mail come in. People that you mail call. He's tracking back all the calls. He's tracking back all the sales. And that's what ultimately, that's how we get that CFO to see the connection between what we spend and what we generate. And that's the key to winning back the mail budgets.
It's a common problem because everybody thinks digital is free, and that they don't want to invest in mail and then the postage. And a lot of times my customers get turned off by the amount of postage, because postage is always more than the printing.
Right.
So I can't honestly, I think you have some good information in the presentation, but since someone walked in my office the last half, I can't comment more intelligently than that at this point.
No, you know, because I originally did this talk for the USPS, for their sales team, and one of the things that I have to say, I'm kind of impressed that the postage, as bad as it is still, it's not that different than the 1980s when I got started. You know, that's the part that's amazing to me, and that I can still get something pretty decent in the mail for under $1. You know.
Agreed. I think a lot when they think, you know, they're going to do their constant contact and all this stuff for free, they're also missing they also miss the point of the labor of the people involved to make sure all the follow-up is happening, because they got to pay them anyway, right? But maybe they could be doing something more relevant to whatever their mission or business situation is, as opposed to making sure the constant contact is going out.
Right. Now, I want to keep in touch with you because you're trying out one of these kind of tools to help help printers, and I want to hear how you like it.
I can tell you this, that we've had a lot of interest, a lot of interest, and we've sold a couple of packages. It's a direct mail enhancement tool, if you will. And so we have had a lot of interest, and we're trying to combine it with also selling it from an EDDM perspective, because my market is pretty small. I don't have a lot of zip codes. So, and also now we're starting to look into the the saturated mailing list in combination. And I know you mentioned that early on. I can't remember what context, because again, people kept walking in my office. But because we think there might be some better value with that, because as a mailer, we can get the postage cost down
Right.
close to EDM. And then with the saturated mailing list, still upload and start tracking all the social media stuff that the technology with Wink Mail Track allows us to do. So we'll see. We're still learning. We're new into the process, but we have had a lot of interest because a lot of our customers don't have the resources, the people resources or the dollar resources to pay ad agency to do all their social media posts and direct mail design and everything all at once. So we'll see.
Yeah, one of the things I always wanted to do, we actually pitched, I don't, you can't see this, I bet, Piggly Wiggly. Anyway, because I know the owner of a chain of about, I don't know, about 10 Piggly Wigglies. And I said, you know, because I'd worked with Dominic's Finer Foods in Chicago, and the puzzle for a lot of retailers is that they want to inexpensively get to the market around them, their geography, but they're under rewarding the non-customers because so they do coupons in the newspaper or something, and that's not enough of a benefit for somebody who's used to going to a store. I go to the Pick and Save and I can't find anything. I literally have to wander around like I'm completely lost. Whereas with Piggly Wiggly, I know where some of it is. So it takes a lot of energy for me to go to try something else. You got to give it a lot of incentive to that. But at the same time, if you give enough incentive to get the non-buyers or the marginal off and on buyers into your store, you're over rewarding the customers who are going to come there anyway. And so the saturation mailing gives you the opportunity to do different offers to existing customers and to prospects. And that's why I'm so excited about that, about working with printers to help them understand that's one thing mail can do that you just really have a hard time doing anywhere else.
The only other comment I would make about a lot of the stats that are out there, I think that one of the challenges is that you got pre-pandemic really good positive stats for direct mail, but we don't have a lot of post-pandemic direct mail stats yet. And so we've been getting some pushback. Well, we survived the whole pandemic without doing direct mail. Everybody's working remotely. Everybody's working digitally. So yeah, so why would I mean, mail is really dead. And it's like, well, not really, because people think it's an event to go out to their post office these
Right.
days, or mailbox, because they're stuck in their home office all day. So we're getting a little pushback there. And realistically, though, it's the perfect time to mail because, like I think you said earlier, the number of mail pieces in the mailbox is light. So if you're going to mail right now, it's going to stand out more than it's ever has before. But people that like to have the statistics to see that direct mail works, it's hard to compare right now because we're just really coming out of the pandemic to see if that's really true. So you have your J. Jill's and your what's the Nordstrom, but that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, I don't know. That was pre-pandemic. Everything's changed. So give me some statistics post-pandemic. Well, we're kind of in process.
I would say to those people, I would say, you know what? Let's do this. We don't have to mail everybody. We don't have to spend your whole budget. Let's mail every other one of your customers that you think you would mail if you were going to do mail. And we'll keep track of who got mailed and who didn't, and how did they do in the next 2 months. There you go.
That's right. But right now, unless you do informed visibility or informed delivery with the post office, it's difficult to track direct mail. Now, the Wink Mail Track that we're doing.
Well, yeah, if you're in retail or something, yeah. Depends. There's a lot of ways to track it. I mean, Lovesac was a retailer, but their database was built on credit cards, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah. And to set up, and I tried setting up informed delivery with the post office several years ago and informed visibility, and it's impossible. It is not intuitive at all. So when we
Right.
purchase this technology, it's all done for me. It makes it a lot easier.
Oh, good.
So, but anyway, those are my 2 cents. I don't mean to run, but I do need
No,
to
no,
run.
that's good.
So I appreciate it, and I will listen to the recording on the
Okay.
part I missed. All right. Thanks, guys.